new, state-of-the-art, gold-plated, everything new. Again, you need a new system. This goes back 25, 30 years. We're using the oldest technology.
We want to hear from our audience, but really quickly, what's going on with the truck drivers? You're making them all learn English now? They have to...
Well, yeah. So, by the way, the truck drivers, I get more feedback from truck drivers who are angry that there's other truck drivers who don't speak English. And so Barack Obama lowered the standard, so you got a slap on the wrist if you didn't speak English, where before they would immobilize your vehicle. Your semi would get parked if you couldn't speak English. We're going to go back to the pre-Obama era where if you can't speak English, by the way, this is dangerous.
The reason's because they can't read the road signs, right?
Well, there's road signs, or if you get stopped by law enforcement, you can't communicate. You can't, So we're going back to the old standard, and again, it's going to make our roads safer.
All right,
the president signed an executive order yesterday for that.
Let's find out what the audience wants to ask Sean Duffy, the Secretary of Transportation, and let's begin with Evan.
Hi, Mr. Secretary. I hear a lot about the challenges, about what you're facing, but I want to ask you personally, what has been the major challenge that you've seen in your own words that you don't hear in the media?
That's a great question. So,
really good question.
First off, you have to build a team, right? And you have to bring people in, and every department deals with this, and the president deals with it as well. But you got to bring your team in. We're bringing our team in and building a team as we have the DCA crash, and then we have Alaska, and then we have Toronto, and then we have what happens in Philadelphia, and so that's the challenge when you don't have a fully staffed team and you're dealing with some of the crises. But I got to tell you, the joy of this is to work with President Trump. To see how hard he works, the vision that he has, how fearless he is. It's not easy. I think presidents over the last 30, 40 years should have dealt with trade in America. They're all too afraid. They're all afraid of markets. They're all afraid of their big business donors who give them, millions of dollars. Not Donald Trump. He's like, I'm going to fix this for the American people. And he takes on fights that most politicians don't. They're the right fights, but they're politically afraid. This president doesn't, and it gives us a lot of grace to do the wonderful things that haven't been done in the past.
Well, Evan asked a great question. Joe, you've got a question now.
Yeah, as I'm getting older, I realize I'm probably going to need a self-driving car at some point. And I've been a little disappointed that I haven't seen much coordination in terms of infrastructure to help make self-driving cars work better. It seems like all the emphasis is on the self-driving car doing it all and not much on infrastructure to support self-driving cars.
So I hear you. So I think so sometimes you think of the Department of Transportation as we have, the orange vests on and the stop and slow signs, right? This is the most innovative space. I think we're the internet, we're the iPhone in their era. So we have, to your point, we have autonomous vehicles, eVTOLs, which are the Ubers in the air, and we have drone technology. And what we're doing is crafting rules that maintain safety, right? The technology has to be there to keep people safe. We're crafting rules that are going to allow the innovators to continue to innovate and expand, but also do it safely. I think the way people move and products move over the course of the next 4 years, 10 years, is going to fundamentally change. Brian is going to be taking, an Uber in the air off the Fox building and going to JFK to get his next flight to his next book conference.
That would be great.
Which would be great, right?
That would be fantastic.
Amazon packages, Walmart packages coming by drone, and autonomous vehicles. That technology is evolving. And by the way, if we don't do it here in America, China's going to do it.
100%.
China's going to develop it. We'll be using Chinese technology.
Yeah.
I want us to use American technology and employ American workers with this technology. So this is a critical point, and we're aggressively working on it.
Or the Chinese just kind of will do it and China will steal it. That's the other thing they like to do. Chris, you have something to ask the Secretary of Transportation.
Yes, I do. Good morning, Mr. Secretary.
Hey, Chris.
From one born and bred New Jerseyan to an adopted New Jerseyan, welcome. So we were talking about DCA, but I'm going to call an audible because we talked about it and you sort of answered my question. So I want to ask you about the congestion pricing around here because it's been a major bugaboo. What is your office planning to get that axed for good?
So for the rest of America, in New York City, there's a cordoned area. And the governor...
We're in it right now.
Yeah, you live in it. So you came in here, you paid $9 to get into the city. Everyone has to pay $9 to access this part of New York. It's fundamentally unfair because if you're rich, you can pay if you're Brian Kilmeade, you can pay the $9. But most Americans, if you're paying to go through the tunnel or over bridges, and then you pay the $9.
14 on my bridge.
You're paying. So people are getting priced out of driving into New York City. We've never done this before in America. There's always a free pathway to get. You might have a toll road, but there's always a free pathway to go around the toll road. This is the only time. The only way to get here is if you pay $9.
Ridiculous.
This is not the vision that the Congress had. So we're fighting Governor Hochul to take this away. It doesn't comply with the law. The grant to do this project should have never been given. And by the way, she wants to take people off the road. And she's taxing people to do it, raising money for the subway system in New York. But then to put people in the subway, the New York subway is dirty. There's violence, it's criminal, it's not safe. People stand against the wall in the subway because they don't want to get pushed in front of the tracks. Yeah. So if you want to have people take the subway, make it clean, make it safe. Yeah. But by the way, I like freedom. Let me drive my car in if I want.
Right.
And so we're going to.
You have to win this.
It affects our firefighters, our police officers, the ones who live out on Long Island and have to drive into the city.
Teachers.
It affects all the doormen, all the teachers that teach in this area.
It affects all the businesses in the area. And so, but again, this is bad liberal policy. Again, they say they care about middle-income people, lower-income people. This is a policy for the elites because they can afford to pay, and they're taking middle-income and poor people off the roads. We never envisioned that kind of system.
Right. It's not working. Keep fighting. You better win this one. And also, thanks for rebuilding Penn Station and moving Madison Square Garden.
Oh, that's going to be beautiful. Donald Trump, Penn Station's been great.
All right.